Hey guys, this is another video for the smoking playlist, which hasn't had much put on it in the last 5 years, happy to say. So this one was triggered because I made a video on the Japan channel about the new Philip Morris smoking tool thing, the electronic cigarette thing. It's sort of a hard thing to describe. We described it as vaping on that video, and a whole heap of people got very emotional and said that it wasn't vaping. Don't really give a shit, really. It's the same stupid thing. It's just taking in nicotine, right? So that one, you put in half a cigarette, a specially made cigarette, and it heats it to 350 degrees, and that allows you to suck the nicotine in without making so much smoke, apparently. So just a quick bit of background for those who missed the other videos, and just on this too, if you are trying to stop smoking, or you're still vaping or chewing nicotine gum, or for any other reason, any other way putting nicotine into your body, and you want to stop, go back to the first one of these videos and watch it, and it might help you stop, because a couple of other people said it helped them. So and using that strategy, after smoking heavily for 25 years, and I'm talking at least 60 a day, often 80 a day, 80 cigarettes a day, sometimes more. If it was a weekend of drinking and partying, it might have been 100, 120 cigarettes a day. Usually 2 packets of 40, not unusual to do 3 packets of 40 in a day, for 25 years. So that's a fairly heavy smoker, isn't it? And tried stopping a few times, used nicotine patches a couple of times, used nicotine gum a few times, tried a whole heap of different things. None of them work, because obviously what happens is you take nicotine by another mean, it just keeps you addicted to nicotine, right? So then all it would take is, you know, one night where I didn't have any nicotine gum and I was with someone who had cigarettes, I had one cigarette, and the next day I'm buying packets of cigarettes again. So it really came down to thinking, and I'll get back to that again in a minute. But that's my background. So 25 years of being a very, very heavy smoker and trying to stop. The longest I ever stopped for was 3 years, and then went back, had a cigarette and went back to smoking again. And it was because I really hadn't solved it, and I'll get back to that again in a minute as well. But for this reason, and knowing how it messes people up, how nicotine really messes people up, I do get a bit pissed off. And I mean, our Japan channel is supposed to be about Japan, and I did get a bit pissed off that there was some people on there arguing for why vaping is such a fabulous idea. And you know, if people want to believe that sort of shit, that's fine. But what bothers me is that 2 things. One is that channel is about Japan. That's the first thing. But the second thing is that channel is our platform that we use to show you things about Japan. And I don't like our platform being used for anything that's going to do anyone else any harm. And for that reason, I have zero tolerance for people talking about guns or promoting guns on our channel. I just refuse to accept it on the Japan channel, because it's not the topic, and because the viewership, I don't want the viewership on there exposed to any sort of bullshit about how great guns are. And again, I'm not going to go into the free speech thing again. If people want to do whatever they want on their own channel about guns, that's fine. They have their free speech there. But I'm not going to provide a platform for pro-gun people to talk about how great guns are, because I don't want to have any positive influence at all on the pro-gun thing, because it causes people to lose their lives having guns, and so does the nicotine thing. So that's the same way I feel about that, is for people to use our platform, stand up at our platform. For me, it feels like they're standing up in front of my house, holding up placards, you know, nicotine is good. And it's just, you know, that's why I've got no tolerance about that. So then moving on to this vaping thing. So I don't give a fuck what you want to call it. You can call it vaping, you can call it e-cigarettes, you can call it, and I recognise they're different, I'm well aware. People assume because you don't give a shit about something that you don't understand something. So, you know, getting these big long lectures from people about, you know, the difference. I don't really give a shit, but it doesn't mean I don't understand it. So I do understand that one of them is you know, inhaling the vapor from a liquid, and the other one is actually heating a solid and then getting what is still called vapor, but whatever you want to call it, smoke from heating tobacco. I don't really give a shit. Basically, what it is, it's taking in nicotine into your body. So I don't give a shit. To me, it's the same. Whether it's heating tobacco, whether it's inhaling a liquid that's been vaporized, whether it's putting a patch on your arm, and because I can remember, those of you who are older people will remember when nicotine gum first came out. Oh, nicotine gum, fantastic! That's going to help people stop smoking, you know. And it was exactly the same reaction to what these fucking vape things are doing. You know, that you can take in the nicotine without the dangerous smoke. And it was the same fucking discussion that we're hearing now about the vaping. You know, and that didn't work, did it? Because the world's still addicted to fucking tobacco. So then next thing was the nicotine patches. Oh, that's the answer. Nicotine patches are the answer. That'll solve it, you know, because it did it. And now it's vaping. It's the same damn thing. It's taking nicotine into your body without setting fire to something. Basically, it's the same thing. And it doesn't fucking work. And what we've got on the Japan channel at the moment is we've got people on that video saying, oh, vaping's fantastic. I used it to stop smoking, and I've been doing it for 2 years. Right. I've been doing it for 2 years. Let's stop and think about that for a minute. And that's exactly what they want. You know, Philip Morris, before we made that video, I always do some research before we make Japan videos, you know, and we did some research on that Philip Morris thing and on other vaping type products as well. And the Philip Morris thing, they spent billions of dollars. I can't remember how many billions, but they spent billions of dollars developing that electronic cigarette. Now, they didn't spend billions of dollars developing that thing to help people give up smoking. They're a tobacco company. What they're doing is that they're recognizing that in some countries now, smoking cigarettes has become more difficult because in some countries there's laws stopping you smoking in certain places, and in other examples it's just a social thing that a lot of people don't like to be exposed to the smoke because it kills them, right? So Philip Morris have decided that an alternative to, or as a, not an alternative, but as an extra product that they can sell to try and keep their profits up, because what's actually happening is in the developed countries smoking's becoming less popular, so they want to try and keep their income up. So to do that, they've made this thing as another product that they can use to sell nicotine, basically. And they don't want you to use it to stop smoking. They don't want you to vape for a few months and then stop vaping, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. They want to keep selling you those products. They want you to spend $100 buying that electronic cigarette and then spend $5, $10, $15 buying the packets of the little miniature cigarettes that are made especially to put inside it. And they want you to do that forever. Or they want you to do that until you go back to smoking their cigarettes again. That's what they want you to do. You know, they're not doing this out of the goodness of their hearts to try and make people healthier. And on that too, someone actually left a comment. It's amazing what people believe when they want to believe stuff. Someone left a comment and said that the vaping is healthier than smoking cigarettes. No, it's not. It's not healthier, that's the wrong word to use. It might be less unhealthy because you're taking in a few less carcinogens and a few less poisons, but it's not healthier. It's less unhealthy. There's a fairly big difference, you know. Eating vegetables is healthier than eating candy, right? But you can't say that it's healthier to use those fucking vapor things. It's unhealthy. And there was someone else arguing that nicotine. Now all these points are relevant. Now the only reason I'm making this video again is for those people who want to stop taking in nicotine. And all these points are relevant and worth thinking about, guys. The other one is that someone was on there saying, oh, they're actually finding that nicotine's actually good for you in some ways, And it's because of the smoking thing that they haven't been able to talk about the good things about nicotine and some other ramblings like that. Now, that's overlooking a couple of things. You don't think Philip Morris and all the other tobacco companies have spent years and lots of money trying to find anything positive about nicotine? Can you imagine? I mean, they want to sell nicotine, they want to sell tobacco. If there was anything good for you or positive about tobacco at all, they would have found it by now. They've been looking, right? And the same as the drug companies too. I mean, drug companies will do anything for money. They experiment with the THC in marijuana, and they experiment with any cocaine or any drug at all they can get their hands on. Anything at all they can get their hands on, they're going to experiment to see if there's any benefits to be had for it, because they know if they can develop any drug at all that has any positive physical benefits at all, they're going to make money from it. And Philip Morris are the same, and all the other tobacco companies are the same. So to say that there's some mysterious health benefits to nicotine that they've been hiding from us, or that, you know, somehow we haven't seen them for some reason, is fucking kidding yourself. You got to be kidding. If there was any positive benefits to nicotine at all, we would have heard about it by now. And there is zero. There's zero benefits to nicotine. There's zero benefits to tobacco. So hopefully those of you who want to stop the tobacco thing and the nicotine thing will go back to the first video and watch it from the start. But I'll just touch on it. I've got a couple minutes left on this video, so I'll just touch on it again. The reason that the vaping thing is a fucking bad thing is a whole bunch of reasons. One is physically, it's going to keep feeding nicotine into your body, which is going to keep your body wanting that nicotine. But the other thing is, and this is the big problem with all these things, is with the patches and the nicotine gum and the vaping and the fucking electronic cigarette and all this other bullshit. Not only is it the physical thing, but it's the mental thing. You're telling yourself you need this. And the person who left that comment about the been vaping for 2 years, I recognise that username, and we get some quite intelligent comments from that person, so no doubt that person's a reasonably intelligent person. But what happens is we lie to ourselves, and this is the difference. If people want to lie to themselves about nicotine and tobacco and everything else, then that's fine, but that's what keeps you addicted. And that's why I was getting a bit pissed off with the people leaving those same lies on our video, because telling yourself those lies is okay, but telling other people those lies is bad, because that helps keep them addicted as well. And the lies are that nicotine has huge withdrawals, and withdrawing from nicotine is harder than withdrawing from heroin and all that sort of stuff. And it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And you know, again, let's remember, 25 years, 60, 80 heavy cigarettes today, like fuck, serious, you know, 15 milligram, not light cigarettes, heavy cigarettes for 25 years, guys, right? And I stopped by stopping. I stopped by not putting any more nicotine into my body, and I'm not underestimating how difficult that is for some people, but you've got to fight this with your mind, and you've got to accept that those actual withdrawals that we go through are usually just our mind wanting to have another cigarette. That's all it is that you haven't had a cigarette for an hour or a week or however long it is, you know, and that you get this, I want a cigarette. It comes into your head because it's been a habit. In my case, it was a habit for 25 years. So, you know, all the triggers that you get to have a cigarette, you know, and to be honest with you, a lot of them have faded now. I can't remember what those triggers were, but usually after eating, after finishing some sort of work, you know, getting in the car, getting out of the car, you know, waking up in the morning, sitting down to watch TV, all those times where you normally have a cigarette. But the reality is that only lasts for 30 seconds or a minute until you let it go out of your mind. Just let it go out of your mind. And this is the problem with the vaping and the patches and the gum and everything else, is not only is it continuing to feed nicotine into your body, but you're continuing to tell yourself that you need to. And you don't need to. You're giving the nicotine too much credit. It's not that fucking strong. It only, when you actually stop putting nicotine into your body, from when you stop when you have that last cigarette, or throw away that fucking vaping thing, crush it, throw it away, and from when you stop putting nicotine into your body starts to recover from the nicotine, and it starts to leave your body. And again, there's nothing positive about tobacco. Go back and watch the first video on this series. There's nothing positive about tobacco. That's all lies as well. It doesn't help you relax. It doesn't help you relax. I remember that illusion. You haven't had a cigarette for a couple of hours, and then you have one and you go, oh, that's better. That's better feeling. I've got that feeling right now, 24 hours a day. Because I don't have the withdrawal thing happening where I feel like I need to have a cigarette, that whether it be chemical or illusion or a combination of both, which it actually is. It's a combination of chemical and illusion. But you just got to let it pass. And from when you stop putting the nicotine into your body, and that's why I get pissed off about those nicotine tools sold to you by the nicotine companies, is because they're just getting you to continue to put nicotine into your body. You stop putting the nicotine in your body, and from that moment that you stop putting it in your body starts to recover, and it gets easier and easier. And then when you get those moments where you want one, put it out of your mind. Just don't latch onto it and fight it. Just push it aside. Okay, it's all right. It's okay. And 30 seconds later or a minute later, you'll be thinking about something else, and that moment will have passed. And then at first it will come more often. At first it'll be every 10 minutes or whenever it is that you want a cigarette, you know. And you just keep pushing it aside. You say, oh, fuck that. No, I'm not doing that anymore. That's bullshit. And there's no benefit. And this is what you need to know first. You need to really know that there's no benefit to you in the nicotine. And that's the problem with doing those alternatives, is that you're constantly telling yourself there is some benefit to doing that nicotine. And there isn't. There's none at all. There's none at all. So those of you who haven't seen this series, if you're still hooked on nicotine and you want to give it up, go back to the first one of this series and watch it from the beginning to the end. And if you've stopped putting nicotine into your body but you still want to do it, then you haven't cured yourself either. Go back to the first video and watch it. Watch how many there is, 5 or 6, whatever there is, and watch it. And keep watching them and watching them and listen and think. Because everything I've said on those videos is true. Everything I've said on those videos is true. And as long as you keep telling yourself, the things that keep you hooked on nicotine is telling yourself there's some benefit from the nicotine, that somehow it makes you feel good, or it somehow makes you feel more relaxed. All those lies are all lies. So until you realize there's zero benefit in putting nicotine into your body, and then it doesn't matter how you put the nicotine into your body, it's irrelevant. As long as you keep putting it in, it's a fucking waste of time and money and health. It's doing you no good. Don't bullshit yourself that sucking it through some tool is better. What the fuck are you doing? It's a stupid thing with zero benefit and only disadvantages, and all you're doing is keeping yourself hooked on that shit. There's no benefit, guys. None at all. So anyway, please go back and watch the first video in the series and come forward from there. If you're really a confirmed smoker or vapor or whatever the fuck, want to do that forever, that's fine, do that too. But for those of you who recognise that there's no benefit in it, there's no benefit in it, watch from the first video forward. Please, please, please. It's good for you. More videos coming soon.